He apologizes. She bravely asked if he has any idea how much a shoe like that cost, and calls it useless. He apologizes. Friend said he should pay more attention at work, because look what he did with his friend's sneakers. She asks if Danilo is okay and says that they're only the benefits that the company offers. He said he's very happy with that opportunity the benefits have. Companies are really good. She would come into the room and ask the company managers here, because they just did something really bad with her. The woman told us to calm down, because you can't just come into her office and ask, what happened? She said the janitor just did some damage to her sneakers. And you know how much that shoe costs? 7,000 BRL. The woman then apologizes for what happened and promises that it will not happen again. She says that's what she expects, and that you want to talk to the person in charge. The woman said she's already answering her. She asks if the woman knows who she is. She is the daughter of company owner Andro Galhardo. The woman said she understands and that she knows her father, but that she needs to finish the service with Danilo and only then will serve her. She said she doesn't have time to wait, and she doesn't know how she's going to get it. She hired someone as incompetent as her to work for the company. The woman said that she can say anything, but that she will only serve her when she finishes the service at Danilo. She said at that moment she's going into her boss's office to complain that the secretary can't even meet the company owner's daughter. Friend, then go and say that there is for the bad service they received. She asks if he's the manager of the company. He greets and says himself and asks who was she. She asks, how is it possible that no one knows her within the company? He apologizes and says he doesn't know her. So he introduces himself and says he's the daughter of the owner of the Anglo-Ghastly company. He said he understood and said she can sit down and be at ease. He asked what he could do for you. She said she believes that he solves the problems of the company and that upon arriving, the janitor ruined her sneakers, which cost 7,000 BRL. He asks if she's talking about Paul. She says she doesn't know his name, but it must be himself, that useless. He's in doubt and says that the Paul he knows doesn't have those attitudes, he's the oldest man in the company. She said it's exactly because he's old that he shouldn't do things like that and taking advantage of the whole situation, that secretary really didn't want to serve her, even though she said she's the owner's daughter. He asks if she's saying Jessica didn't answer well, and that the only thing you can do is apologize for the inconvenience. She said she insisted on being taken care of and actually said she was the owner's daughter and she refused very rudely. He said the only thing he can do is apologize, because that was the first time he'd received complaints from her. She said it doesn't matter if she never got complaints, because she's there complaining and she was the owner's daughter. He again asks if it was the same Jessica they're talking about, because he's the one he knows, would never do anything like this, and that she might be busy serving another client. What if she's really sure? She said it doesn't matter that she was a priority because she's the owner's daughter and that she doesn't even deserve the position she's in. He said he just thinks it's weird, because she's been in that position for many years, ever since her father founded the company. She said she was going to wake up because she knows his job there inside the company was to solve the problems. He calls Jessica and says he needs her to show up at his office at that moment. He said he's coming, and the girl then said she's going out to eat and that when she gets back, she wants all that to be settled. She said that again, because it didn't happen, and she curses him a lot, so she said he doesn't really pay attention to what he does. Paul apologizes and says he hasn't seen her and that he's not doing it there because he wants to. She said he has to pay more attention, and if he was blind, he has to look where he's going. He apologizes and says it won't happen anymore. She says she won't even after she's already given his order to be sent away. He told how she did it and that he can't be without a job. Friend said that's right, and for his information, they forgot to warn you before, but that one was the daughter of the owner of the company. Paul said that she saw that it was an accident and her friend also as a witness, and that he never did it on purpose to harm her tennis. She said it was too late to repent and suffered from the consequences, and the friend he should have thought of better, paid more attention at work. Jessica asks, why are they treating Paul so good? She gets angry and tells her to take care of her life, and who was she to get in the way and to get out of the way? Her friend said she's wanting to be sent away too. She asks what? She said she already sent their boss, sent her and that useless guy over there. They say they want to, they can't do that, because they both depend on that job. She said it's of course she can use it. She already forgot she was the owner's daughter. She said all that because of a sneaky, and it was an accident. She gets mad and said it wasn't a sneaky, it was 7,000 reis. And that they should respect the owner's daughter more. He asks what's going on over there? She greets her father and said she went there to talk about the card that was cancelled, and by the way, his employees treated her very badly. He said he understood, but asks who gave her permission to go to the company without telling him, to settle the card issue. She said it's because she needed to use the card and he wouldn't answer, so she had to go there. He asks Jessica what's going on over there? She said that the following happened: his daughter arrived there in the company and, unintentionally, Paul bumped into her, in her sneakers, and she ended up mistreating the two. He looks at tennis and says it was the sneakers he bought and he paid for it. She said that her daughter also had the audacity to go into the manager's office to ask for her so much dismissal from Paul, and that she is very ignorant. She asks if she was even attention of the manager, resigned from the two. She says yes, and that he should send away that useless man who doesn't even know back visits. He said he tried the situation and asks if she knows who that boy was. That boy had been with him since he was nothing. Since the company was founded, he was already there working, and never had any kind of problem with it. She said that it doesn't justify him ruining her sneakers and that he should be punished. He said she should talk a little lower, because she should have more respect for people's history. And that there is nothing to talk about Jessica, and that taking advantage of all that situation that are all gathered, he wanted to take advantage and say that from that moment she would be supervisor, above her only Willer the manager. The daughter doesn't understand, and says she treats her badly and still gets a reward for it. He said yes, it would be that reward that he would give her, and that he knew the good she, his daughter, would have a bright future in the company. Even using the education he gained when she was little, it was for her to be walking side by side with him in the company, and that from that moment on, not only Jessica would rise from office, more Paul too, and that from that moment on he will occupy the office that was of Jessica. And that he wants to say something to his daughter, that from that moment on, if she wants to have any ties to the company, she will have to work as a cleaner and move her up from scratch, and that he will cancel all the cards, just as she had already cancelled, because he was the one who cancelled, and without tennis, as expensive as these, this is all for her to learn to value the life she has and the people around her. She doesn't expect herself and says he can't do this to her because it's his daughter. He says that just because she's his daughter, he's going to do it so she can learn to appreciate the simplest things in life and not suffer out there in the world. She begs that not to happen that. He said he already wanted there the other day at 9 o'clock and period. Jessica asks her to clean under the table. She said, "You can leave." He told her to clean the window of his living room and then the glass outside.